Hey guys, welcome back to Shep Talk and welcome back to Shep Talk Movie Reviews. If this is your first time here, please remember to hit that subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell icon to get notified whenever I upload a video. Also, you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Now let's get to my review of The Five Bloods. The Five Bloods was directed by Spike Lee and stars Delroy Lindo, Jonathan Majors, Clark Peters, Norm Lewis, and Isaiah Whitlock Jr. Quick synopsis: 4 Vietnam battle buddies returned to Vietnam seeking gold they left behind. The Five Bloods came out on Netflix on June 12, 2020, and it has a runtime of 2 hours and 34 minutes. I have to say, when I first saw the trailer for The Five Bloods, I put it on my radar of movies that I wanted to watch. Sadly, I did not get the chance to watch it the day it came out, but I did make sure it was the next movie that I watched. Talk about a movie coming out in a time when the issues they face in this movie can be related to what is going on in the United States today. This movie is not only an entertainment piece, but also gives us a look at the brutal history black servicemen have had in the military, as well as some of the social injustices they are still facing today. But Spike Lee isn't one to give us characters that all see things on one side. He likes to give us characters that have some different opinions and outlooks on how things are and what should be done in this society. Right off the bat, you can tell this is a movie brought to us by Spike Lee. He is one of those directors that likes to shoot his movies in a certain way, and when you watch them, even if you don't know if they are directed by Spike Lee, you will have that feeling that you have seen this style before. Truth be told, I thought we would see more of the past than we really are given. The flashbacks are usually used only to punctuate a certain issue, when it will provide more light on why the Five Bloods are doing what they are doing. I just thought with this cast that they had assembled for the Vietnam era soldiers that they would have a bigger role than they did. Not to say that the main actors did a bad job, not at all. Each brought something different to the table, and you really felt these guys were battle buddies that had served together back in the day. Because let me tell you, if you haven't served in the military, most won't understand the bonds that are formed between you and those that you have served with. It is a whole different world that is hard to explain or even bring someone into that hasn't experienced. But don't let this movie fool you. It is not a straight up coming back for the treasure we buried movie. The Five Bloods come back to a place that took them down dark roads, and each seems to have their own secrets that they had not shared even with the group. And coming back where it all started starts to have adverse effects on this group. Then you also compound the modern problems of what or how are you going to move so much gold out of one country and bring it into another. This seems to be one thing that the group didn't even discuss before landing in Vietnam, and seems to be trusting an old flame to introduce them to a man they had never met before to help them get this gold out. If I was going to go somewhere and retrieve treasure, I would have at least had a plan of what I'm going to do with said treasure once it is dug up, and once we have dug it up again. Because as the money man does bring up when they are talking, you just can't bring gold bricks through the US Customs. There would be some questions that would be hard to answer. I really think these guys didn't think about the process about going to recover the gold and how to transport it and all the headaches that would go along with it. They do get themselves a guy that they trust to lead them part of the way, but not go all the way with them. I get that you wouldn't really want to be burdened down with a lot of supplies, especially if you believe you're going to be just a day or two in the jungle, but it seems like they brought the bare minimum and not much else. One of them decides to arm himself before heading into the jungle, and all others are surprised when they find this out. All the time I'm thinking, you don't know what or who you'll find out in the jungle, and you really didn't bring much else to defend yourself. Why wouldn't you bring guns? Why wouldn't you bring big knives? There's animals in there that you don't know are going to try to kill you. And I will also say that the runtime for this is a little too long. I felt those 2.5 hours. Spike Lee was trying to cram as much as he could in this movie, and sometimes that just dragged on for a little too long. I get that war leaves a mark on a person's soul, and that coming back to the country that has such an impact on your young life can do things to you, but we really don't need to see that from every person's point of view, or even how their life fell apart since then. And even though the main cast acted well with each other, There were times when the acting with people outside the group where the performances just seemed to falter. I remember watching one scene that should have been a touching moment, but the emotional connection just was not there, and the way Spike Lee decided to frame it just made it so uncomfortable. And sadly, this seemed to be the case throughout the movie. Overall, guys, The Five Bloods is a movie that is coming out in a time that I think needs to be seen. It is not a perfect movie, but it does give us a look at what black servicemen had to go through when they were in the military and what they have to face out in society. So with that being said, Shep Talk does give The Five Bloods 3 Sheps out of 5. But that is all I have time for today. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you did like this video, go ahead and check out some of these other videos over here. I'm sure something in there you'll find that you'll also enjoy. But that is all I have time for today, guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next review.